I don't really look at many things as failures.
I would rather have the experience of doing it and have failed than never to have done it at all. So many people are scared of failure that it holds them back from achieving everything that they are meant to have in their lives. One being happiness. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. My name is Matthew Toman, and I'm your co-host for today, and I'm joined with
Sharon Kirkpatrick.
Here in the Mindset and Marketing Podcast, our aim is to give you jargon-free information around everything mindset and everything marketing, two of the most important things that you must master in your life to achieve everything. Because, guys, we all come up against a few challenges every now and again. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the vein of on the topic of this podcast. So, but before we get into it, how was your week?
Good, yeah. I don't really have. I feel like we should start like a meal podcast, like a food podcast, because anytime you're asking me, it's always food orientated. So this weekend I went to a different restaurant in Belfast, 6 by Nico, with my sister, where we're doing some sisterly time. And for those that don't know, it's like a 6-course tasting menu that changes every 6 weeks. And it's kind of quirky how they present all of the food. So the theme for this week was fun fur.
Okay, interesting. So do they have candy floss and stuff?
I was just about to ask you, what's the one thing you think of? Because every person I've said this to, that is the first thing they've said. And there was not
really?
a pick of candy floss on the meal or on the menu.
That is weird. That is weird.
You know what they had instead as like
Well, let me have a guess, right? Let me have a guess. Right. Popcorn? Probably popcorn.
No, because I thought...
what about those, like, you know, the dummies that people used to, like... Those sort of sweet things, like a rock or something. I don't know. Where were they going? What did they have?
But see, on that, does everywhere do like dummies, or is it just like an Irish thing?
I don't know. I'd
love to know. I'm gonna have to research that. No, for dessert they had like toffee apple. It wasn't a toffee apple, but you know, that's Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Okay, so what else did they have? Did they have like...
They had like hook a duck, you know, for the little ducks in the fun fair.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get that. That's good, yeah.
Catch a cod, like the wee, you know, goldfish.
Sort of got that with the duck. Oh, well, actually, yeah, goldfish maybe, yeah. Why didn't I just serve goldfish? Can you eat goldfish?
I don't know. I wouldn't fancy it because to me, it'll look like a goldfish, so it'll put me off, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But like it was delicious. It was really, really nice. So for anyone who hasn't been, you should try it out. And I don't think it's too badly priced. No.
It's the cheapest 6-course tasting menu in the world. I'm going to go that far. I brought two of my friends once that ate fine dining all the time, and when they got the bill, they could not believe it. I think the bill they got the wine, I didn't. I think it was like less than £200 for 3 of us. They were like, "What the hell?" They usually spend thousands. Do you know, on that type of experience? Now, it isn't totally like that. I don't think the experience is totally top end. I've had brilliant waiters in there, but I've also had people that didn't give me the same experience as the previous person. Still good. Like,
it's funny you say that because the waitress that started off with us, now they're all friendly, but the one that started off with us didn't go into the whole explaining every single crumb on the plate, you know, and the reason for it and all of that. And then the last 2 courses we got that from the second waitress. So but you're right. It's not like
they've a lot to that. It's just not waiters' defense. I can remember I met one of the waiters there, and I said to him, "Can you let the guys know?" And he said, "Do you mind if I get someone else?" And he said, "Look, I've just started." And he said there was so much for us to learn. And I was like, "Yeah, no worries, that's cool." Like, see, when he said it, he was fine, you know, but because he had to learn every single crumb, as you say. And but yeah, no, that's good. It is a good experience.
I didn't really mind, to be honest, because Kirsty was then like, my sister, on the last 2 courses, why is she telling us all this? And I'm like, that's normally what they're supposed to do. And she goes, I can't be bothered with that.
I know.
Just want to
Kirsty
get the grub.
To get stuck in. Yeah.
I know.
Did you go for food after it?
No, because that's what I was going to say. For someone who likes to be busted after they're not going to be. Now, I was full. I'm not going to lie. But I am easily full, I think.
So we ended up meeting up with our friend. Me and Daniel and Nathan went out for food. What night did we go out? What day is it today? Saturday we went out. But we went to like an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue. Now, I didn't realize it was all you can eat, but I love it because they bring all the food to you and you cook it in the plate in front of you. So they like the little like cooker thing, and then oh my god, you want to see how much food we ate? Like it was not normal.
Really?
It was not normal. It was gorgeous, but not one single carb. I had like this tiny bit of like a pasta thing at the very start, like, and I mean like it was eating in my chopstick, so it was like small. And I had so much protein, it was insane. But I think I needed it.
Did you, like, that's always amazing, right? But see, afterwards, are you not wrecked? You know, after eating?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, my friend Kenny was like, come on, let's go, we're going out. And I was like, do you want to watch a movie? I was like, I couldn't. He's like, no, he said, the movie will be there, let's go. You know, but I was up yesterday morning early and in the gym, so it was good. I was glad I went to it. It was great. I had a great week as well.
What about the Super Bowl, though? Was it not
Super
all hype
Bowl
over
was
there?
on yesterday. Yeah, it was. But I was at my comedy improv class.
Oh, okay.
How did that go? Class. Really, really good. So we had first week we got up and done like a 5-minute piece. Then we had to write something this week. So we all wrote something, and I have to admit it was really good. Like there's some people in the class are so funny. They're hilarious. Like there's some that tell stories and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're saying that. I got laughs on mine from the start, from the opening line, and then all the way through, and got some really, really good feedback. So we have to write another one for next week. And then I'm also doing a showcase. So
wow.
I would sometimes obviously do some speaking, you know, on stage and in front of people. So one of the reasons why I done this course is because I just wanted to like push myself outside my comfort zone, just get back on stage. And I think whenever actually I am back doing work stuff, presenting and on stage, which I have some commitments this year, it'll be much easier because I won't have to make them laugh. But I have to admit, I couldn't wait to get up. And this week I'm actually going to go to an open mic night on my own and actually try some stuff.
No way.
I swear to God, I couldn't wait to get up yesterday and do it. There's 11 of us, and I went probably about 8th, and I was going to go up at 7th, and then this girl went up, and then I said, no, go you on, it's fine. And then, but I was bussing to get up. I couldn't wait.
Oh my goodness.
It's really good.
I'm so cool.
Surprised. I'm so surprised at myself. And then the rain was here for a week. Went to see this ballet show. I went to the ballet last week, actually, this Russian composer. It was a very interesting thing that was going on. It was we met this guy beforehand, right? And he said, do you know what this is about? And me and my friend Betty said no. He said, let me tell you. And I said, no, don't tell us, because, to ruin the surprise. But he didn't even acknowledge that I said that and told us everything anyway. And I was saying to her after, thank God he told us. Could you imagine trying to work that out?
Oh my goodness. Was it good though? I can't imagine you sitting through a ballet.
Absolutely amazing. The first person, there was 2 women up, and I said to Betty, we could have probably done that improv, like just got up and just with this thing and done it for the crack. But yeah, it was great. All of the whole cast were from all different parts of Africa, and they've been on this tour for 2 years, like in New York, queued around the block. Like they've been in Australia. The whole stage is covered in this muck. And it's really, really good. It's brilliant.
Wow.
There's 2 villages, and they're trying to find a virgin to sacrifice her. Then the virgin presents herself in a red dress, and then they sacrifice her. But
so obviously there's no words, right?
No, it's all music. It's like a big
So like if you didn't really understand the concept and you're just there watching that,
if the guy had not have told me that, I would not have known they were trying to sacrifice a virgin. Like there's just no way you can get it, and that's why the guy just said it. He was like, he just said, no, I'm like, you need to know what this is, and he just said it. I know. I was thinking after, but it was great. So it was great, and the sun's back out in LA, so blue skies.
Did you get to see Usher's halftime performance?
Oh yeah, so I didn't see. I went and picked up an In and Out last night on the way home, and actually called round to Daniel's to watch like the last 30 minutes of it, and then which was quite exciting actually. And then I seen all the drama with Taylor Swift. She was there crying. She wouldn't let go of your man. I was like, let go of him. Let him go and speak to his parents. You know.
Do you know, I read somewhere that she, and this was I don't know all about this, right? But you know that team he plays for?
Yeah.
What are they called? Whatever they're called.
Chiefs. Chiefs. Yeah.
Whatever.
The ones in red.
The ones in red. Well, the one of the like owners or whoever management of that club said that since they've started dating, she has increased their revenue by $331 million.
I know, and it's so controversial that I actually am so not into Taylor Swift at all.
The power of this woman at the minute.
Oh no, she's always been like that though. She's always been like that. She is a real touch to gold. I don't get it. Like, but Daniel did make a very valid point yesterday. He said, look, she writes all her songs. She works really hard. And I was like, I know, you're right. It's just like, I think she's just really, really nice. I think she's good. I just probably would have let go of that guy for a second sooner and just let him go see his parents, you know?
She's so theatrical, like in her performances. I've been to see her a few times and I'm going again. And there is a bit of it that's it's too nice, it's too much, it's too put on. It feels like that, but I still love her.
It's so not authentic in that's my problem with it. I don't think a single second of it's authentic, but I think she's got good music. I think she's got good producers.
She makes me kind of feel like if anyone's ever been to, Disneyland and you walk in and that's how they all act.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. Like that's what she does. I don't know why.
Oh yes.
It just is too happy, too like over the top. I don't know, but still love her.
I know. I like a bit of drama, probably a bit darker humor. You know? Yeah. But then again, you can't fault somebody for just being too nice, you know? Or can you?
That's probably why we are. We don't get it. Like, how can you
but
be
I mean,
that?
you're a huge fan. Do you know what I mean? You actually are a major Taylor Swift fan. I don't get it at all. Like, you know. But I do think she's very marketable. I don't think I'd want that level of fame. It's too much.
That'd be hard.
It's too intense. She can't do anything ever, and all her stuff is like, you know. Then she's just seen as a commodity. Oh yeah, you should enter into that relationship with Taylor Swift because she'll bring X amount of revenue into your life. How could you even trust if anything's real?
I know.
You know?
I love her, like.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not going to start feeling sorry for Taylor Swift by any means now, you know.
Okay. So that was a good wee varied week then.
It was, yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll jump in.
Yeah, what is today's topic about?
Failure is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I mean by that is obviously a lot of people fear failure or kind of associate lots of negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, all the things when they fail at something. But what we want to do is kind of talk through that a wee bit so that we can turn it around into a more positive experience, because technically it's the first step to success.
It's a part of it. It's like always, you know, that saying, fail forward. You know, as long as you're always moving forward and failure's okay as long as you're learning from it.
Well, this is the thing.
You know?
So it's like whenever I was looking up, the way I like to look up the definition, I just have to read it. Where was it?
I think the guys yesterday won't be feeling any of this though. Failure is your friend. The guys who lost the Super Bowl. Because it was so close. I mean, it was so close.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. It was like they could have won at one point and then... But anyway, they were up by 10, I think. They were up by 10 by the end of the first quarter. But go on anyway.
Well, actually, what I wanted to say was I was thinking about failure and thinking about success, because it's one of the first steps to success. And whenever people kind of think about, failing, it's because they're en route to trying to achieve something. So what do they want? They want success. So success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, right? So if you always go back to thinking about the fact that you are a step closer to that aim or that purpose because you have moved forward. If you've tried something and you failed it, you've still moved forward. You've still got a step closer to figuring out or understanding, like you say, what you learnt from that experience that can then lead you closer to achieving that aim or that goal.
Yeah.
But like, I think the main thing is there, like whether or not you pass or fail, if you like, at that, you've already accomplished something by doing it and by trying it.
Yeah, and there's always, from this data that you pick up along the way, there's always then the information. You're like, okay, well, if that happened, what if I do this? Will that change that? Or if I do that, will that change that? I'm working with one of my clients at the minute. Obviously, not going to say her name, and she won't mind me telling this story. But she feels constantly like a failure, right? She's not from Ireland anyway, and she's like online client in the middle of America. And one of the things that I was going through with her, I actually had a call with her yesterday, and she was saying, I feel like a failure as a mother. I feel like a failure in business. I feel like I failed my relationship. And I was like, and I'm looking at her thinking, I think she's like one of the biggest successes. Do you know? I was like, what? I'm thinking to myself, and I had to say to her, listen, I think you are crazy. I said, what you're actually dealing with on your own, and actually the business that you've currently got running, okay, your relationship broke down. Okay, you're a single mother now. Okay, you have the challenges of a single mother with like a small child that has like, needs and everything else. But let's just identify, let's first of all highlight everything you've been through in the past 18 months, and then let's identify all the stuff that you've learned and how much you've grown. And she ended up sending me like a voice memo this morning saying, look, thank you so much for yesterday. And because I'd sent her a message after. And she said, I just don't see it. And she said, I do now, but said, I just didn't see it. I couldn't see how far I'd came. And because she's so practical, because obviously she's got a very successful business, so she already works with a practical head. It was just me like pulling her back in to remind her, who she was, what she's done, and how much she's actually done. And I think that is a lot of it. What happens, it's like life and circumstances present, all these things get thrown at you, and people don't realize how much stress they're under, and then they'll feel that they have turned into like a failure. And
that's actually a valid point as well, because if you've got people, like you'll get some people who you're just happy enough kind of floating through life, and then you'll get people who really want to achieve a certain level of whatever it is, be it in a relationship, be it in work, whatever, fitness, whatever. But you see the people who have like those mindsets of wanting to achieve goals or reach milestones, they're going to be doing more things. So the chances are they're going to experience more failures, than other people. But actually they've done so much more, even though maybe they've failed at a lot of the things, because that's what happens, than the person who is sitting there, with no real drive, not moving forward, not trying it out, not feeling. So it's a win-win, that way.
Oh no, it's the same. It's like, they're saying so many ideas are like in a cemetery, in a graveyard. There's so many, the best business ideas are in the graveyard or in the cemetery, no matter wherever you're the person's dead, essentially. And I always say, look, I don't want to be the richest person in the graveyard. I want to spend my money and enjoy my life. Do you know what I mean? I want to make mistakes. I want to build businesses, move forward. And I think it is that once you sort of know that, a lot of it is like remembering sort of who you are, and also clearly identifying what it is you've already achieved. Because no matter, we've all achieved something. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's from school, whether it is from, no matter what it is, we've all like achieved something, and it's about really clearly identifying what those are.
If you look at like all of the top, like, business, or I'm just talking about business for this, but like successful people, they'll all have explained their failure stories, like Jack Canfield, who you worked with for a period on the evolution of success. I was reading up and I think you talked about it before, the way he had published that book that's like one of the best sellers in the whole world ever.
He's the highest selling author underneath J.K. Rowling. I think he's the high, and she's fiction and he's factual or something. I don't know. He's more real.
Oh, so it's a different kind of
no. But
genre.
So he would be the highest in his genre.
Yeah.
But he's the second highest when it comes to thing.
Well, I was reading just up on that, and he had said that he got 144 rejections from publishers about that. Do you know what I mean? So imagine he had stopped at 1, 2.
It's in the curriculum. It's in the curriculum in America. They learn it in schools.
And that takes some amount of, because this is another benefit of, failure is learning resilience. Because absolutely. You then get first one's hard, second one's harder. As it goes on, it gets a bit easier, and then it's just like, whatever, water off a duck's back.
What failures do you think you would have?
What failures do I have? I've definitely got loads of failures, but I'm trying to think of one, like that just pops out.
Right, so I'll go through a couple for me while you're thinking. Right, I don't know about you, like. No, but I can tell you. Is that a personal
thing? You have to figure out.
Well, it's because everything is personal. Like the person who feels that they've had failure is they're thinking that about themselves. If I was to have a victim mindset and turn myself into, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I failed my GCSEs. Right, so that wasn't like a success. I failed at property development. I had to go insolvent, hand all my houses back to the banks. I failed at acting. I had a failed acting career. What else? If I was saying, what else did I fail at? I failed with many like things just along the way with like clients and different business ideas. I had a really good app at one point. I could class myself as a failure on that because it didn't actually come out. But if you look back at that, okay, my GCSEs, I had no intentions of ever learning them, and I got 4 C's and 3 D's, and I actually think that is good because I should have got all way less than that.
All used.
But if I go to like there's nothing I can do about that. I failed at property development. At least I tried. At least I bought my first house at 19. That was a big achievement. That was huge, to actually get the money, get the deposit. And I learned so much. Bought my second house by 21, my third by about 23. Okay, I was giving the stuff back to the banks. And, a couple of other business things that I had invested in at that time went bust as well. We did have the biggest economic downturn of our time at that point, of our time in whole. So there was other components, but in one sense you can say, oh my God, I failed. But then the other, flip it and say, but at least I done that. Okay, I've had a failed acting career. I was in several feature films. They're out online. You can buy them. You can watch them. But at least I got up and done it. I would rather have the experience of doing it and have failed than never to have done it at all. And then you'd be sitting, I could have been, like you hear it a lot, and I used to hear it a lot whenever I drank in bars. Oh, I could have been doing this, or I could have been doing that. And I believe that person, 100%. You could have been. You could have been the best footballer. You could have been the best actor. All you had to do back then whenever you thought that was go do it. Who cares if you fail? So many people are scared of failure that it holds them back from achieving everything that they are meant to have in their lives. One being happiness.
And that's very important. It's funny because I think this has a lot to do with my mindset, because like I don't really look at many things as failures, because like you said, we're not in that mindset. We look at them as kind of opportunities, but if I went back in time and like I'm like you, technically, well, not technically, I didn't kind of get to university because I just asked about, and I preferred having a part-time job that got me money to go to the bar and buy clothes and do all that. So technically I failed at that, but then on the flip side, then it allowed me to go out, get full-time work my way up the ladders, move to different industries, learn, and then get to the place where we are now. Whereas if I was at uni, might have got into debt, might have missed that train, might be solely focused on one industry, and that would have been a completely different path.
Yeah.
Also,
well, I'm going to ask you another question.
I failed that when I was
did you fail your driving test first time? No.
Yes. And failure. That was horrible. That was horrible.
But you hadn't done it again.
That was the time I did feel like an actual failure, because I wanted it so bad, and the thought of doing it again made me want to throw up. But I was going to say that whenever I was in like high school, I was okay at music, and not that I ever picked that up, and there was one space left for someone to play. Like, there was 3 of us who were up for getting to play the oboe. That was the only one left, and then I got the place out of the other girls, and I lasted about 2 weeks. I just couldn't be bothered.
Oh, we had to go up. I had to go. I'll never forget this. I wanted
Who
to be a
wants to
singer.
play the oboe?
Everybody wants to be a singer when they're growing up, right? Everybody. Like, it's. I don't believe anybody who says they don't, right? Or, well, maybe I'll say, right, either a singer or footballer, or I don't know. Those 2 things, I think,
Doctor?
maybe is no. Like, I'm
No.
talking about dream jobs.
Oh,
But
okay.
so I can remember thinking, oh my God, I want to be a singer, you know? And I went and we were trialing out for the choir, and like, Miss Brown, I will never forget it. No, sit down. I was like, what? So I just thought I was going to get into the choir because I thought I could sing. That was my first actual part where my delusion was sort of, you know,
All-time high?
like debunked. Like, you know,
Oh,
you're not,
right.
you're actually not a good singer. So anyway, I didn't end up doing it. But I just want to throw this back to you for a second, right? So failure, you have failed at a couple of things. Your driving test, you know, you think.
I've got one more because I do remember this.
Okay.
Just while it's in my head, I really wanted to be a firefighter. And then I went and took the course. You know, you have to go through these different stages. There's loads of different exams. So passed loads of them, got to the physical, and it was a disaster. So
Oh my God, we're going to be in the fire brigade?
you had to get the rope, you know, or not the rope, the hose. Hence why I failed. Don't even know the name of things. And you had to pull the rope over your shoulder and run from one end of the gym to the other, which is fine. I did that, right? And I was running, and I went to run, but the hose was like still wrapped up in a wee ball. So instead of it unwinding as I ran, the whole ball was just following behind me,
Oh,
like
shit.
the wheel. And then they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's not my fault. It didn't untangle. Like, I'm running." And they're like, "No." And
Get
I was
out of
like,
here. You
yeah.
cannot save lives. Well, I will say this to you, right? So you haven't failed really at anything. They're all just life normal things. You're actually quite good at achieving stuff. But I know that you want to get more into photography. Right? I know you're really good at videography yourself. Do you know what I mean? I know you're a really good videographer and editor. And I know it's just a pastime for you. And I'm not saying that you would be doing it as in, like, you know, why have you not looked to maybe doing those things more? Is it, and I'm actually asking here just to see, is it afraid of failing at it? Is it like just haven't got the time, can't be bothered? Like, what is the sort of reason? Because there is other things that I know that you would look at it in life.
Yeah.
To sort of, do you know what I mean? Like, where I'm doing a stand-up course here at the minute. I'm pushing myself outside my comfort zone to like test me. I'm okay to fail at it because I'm like, you know, I'm more than likely going to fail at it because it's fucking stand-up, you know.
Nah,
but,
you won't. You'll be funny.
So I'm like, you know, where are you at with like pushing yourself?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, when we talked earlier about those people who kind of plod along, or people who take risks and have those goals will feel more. So I'm the first one. So that's why I don't have as many big examples. Because I'm more like a plod along. But in answer to that question that you asked,
I wouldn't class you as a plod along. I definitely wouldn't. Like, you travel most months out of the year to somewhere exciting. Like, you know.
I'm not. I'll give everything my all in a minute. So I just select few because I'm more of a perfectionist. So if I take something on, I want to be able to.
So why are you
be
a perfectionist?
amazing at it?
Why, right? So why are you afraid, like, of what other people think in your failure?
Why am I a perfectionist? No, I just think if you're going to do something, you should do it to the best of your ability.
And what happens if you don't?
Well, then that's okay. But did you try? Like, that's my thing. See, whenever because they're hobbies like videography and stuff, I don't know if I would invest enough time to be as good as I would want to be.
Okay.
Because I don't really, I'm not, obsessive about it. I feel like I want to feel like this burning desire for something.
Yeah.
Are you saying videography because you want me to then change rules and bank price and?
No, definitely not. We would not be making money off you as a videographer. You're not moving. No, compared to the position you're in. I mean, do you know what I mean? You'd have to trade a lot of hours to get to there. So no, that's a definite no. But I do think you should do a photography course or something. I think you'd really, really enjoy it. I think you do enjoy it. I think you should enjoy getting a camera. And like, because that is something that I do think that like you have in the back of your head that you would like to do, but I think that you got to enter into it. And this is where I think most people's problems are. And one of the reasons why I'm asking Sharon here and pushing her, it's not about like us just having a chat. It's about showing other people as well. You don't have to be perfect at something. You could just have a little niggling idea to go like, okay, this could be something that I want to do. And it's okay if I'm not good at it. I want to give it a bash. I want to have more experiences. You meet other people. Like the people I've met in the past 2 weeks on this course is flipping mad, you know. Total characters, you know, and I'm really excited to see how they get on. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you got to try a lot of things, I think, and it's okay to not perfect it. You don't have to enter into it and get to the point where it's like, this is my all. And like I know some actors that get into acting the same time as me, and they're still like battling through, and I'm not saying it's not meant to be for them because that's their choice and they're the ones that do that, but they've got such strong skill sets in other areas, and I don't know, maybe that's what I don't know. It's hard to know.
It's one of the, I think as well, like whenever, you know, you think about failure, because obviously there's things we do every blooming day, like failure seems to be like an intense emotion, you know, there has to be an intense emotion attached to it of a like negative step backwards or negative experience, and probably for, you know, me in terms of what I define, because again, as I mentioned at the start, kind of failures attached to success, you know, as in you've got something that you see that's successful, so in order to get there you have to do these things, and something that doesn't work is a fail. But for me, in terms of what I deem a success in life, is a happy, healthy life where I have an amazing work-life balance and I can live anywhere, work anywhere, and explore lots of different, you know, people and industries. And that's kind of what I have.
Oh, I know, that's the thing. But you took a risk by coming to work for me. Like that if you look at like that could have been a major failure. And like just a note, like Rachel, my cousin and Sharon's partner, was like, this is not a good idea. Like, don't do this, you know. And to be honest with you, it took us about another 9 months to like everybody else to get on board, and then for us to finally take the risk.
Yeah, and then but even when you look at that, like how we did it in stages. You know, we kind of went part time, and then seen how that worked for both of us, and you know, go that way. But it thankfully didn't end up in. I
seen the future, right, and I knew everything was going to be fine. So I was just like, let's just go do this. Because I'm like a risk taker. I'm like, let's go. I knew there was never going to be a problem with us, right? And then Sharon's like, okay, I'm starting to work with you, and I'm like, brilliant. She's like, but I've took another job as well. And I was like, what? Why have you took another job? And she said, just in case it doesn't work out. I'm like, oh, I had to really like just. Okay, cool. At this point, I don't think, I wasn't drinking then. Rachel was making her decisions off whenever I drank. I don't think it would have been a good idea because I was too hot-headed, you know.
No, it's funny though. So that's just showcasing more of my overcautious kind of mindset and how I think.
And mine's the absolute opposite. I'm like, let's just go, let's just do it.
It's why we complement each other.
I think my biggest thing is, I don't think that failing is the problem. I think not failing is the problem. I think as long as you're failing, you're on the right track. Just keep moving forward and keep failing, you know. Feel better, feel forward.
I obviously have some work to do.
Gotta keep feeling. I know that's it. But you know.
That's what, like, so I kind of jotted down some of the benefits for failing, and I think we've mentioned them, but I just want to read them out. You know, because I know we're talking about us as well there. So I just want to read them out to make sure that everyone, if there's any we miss. So you can learn from your mistakes. We got that one. And that's a huge one. Like, you know.
100%.
Imagine everything you feel that you give up straight away. So then none of us would drive who didn't pass our test first time.
Another little tip that I've said on the podcast many times, set the bar so low that you get successes all the time. Me setting up
Yeah.
this camera today, this lighting, this sound, everything, that's a success.
It makes you stronger. We mentioned that. Gives you the ability to build resilience because now
Yeah.
you don't care that you're being knocked back because you're like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you clarify what you want, because sometimes you might be trying to achieve something and be potentially constantly failing at it. And
Yeah.
then whenever you really look back at, why that's happened or why that's occurred, it might be in the end that that's not exactly what it is that you wanted,
Yeah.
because you can kind of weigh that up then after all of these attempts of learning and exploring and understanding and developing, still making the mistakes. You might then go, you know what, it's not for me.
Yeah.
instead
Oh,
of
I know.
instead of always having that wish of being this or that, never trying it, and always just having that in the back of your head. Whereas if you've got a goal, you're working towards it, you feel it's not working, you're going to exhaust all your options, and you're going to be like, do you know what, that's not for me.
Yeah, it's just,
Change
and
paths.
like, that's the thing. I'm a failure as an actor, right? I didn't make it. I didn't have my name on a billboard. I was in a movie and stuff, but I haven't been in like anything. Or I done that for several years. I'm not just saying this, right? I did not like it. I did not like hanging around set all day, eating like crappy food, waiting and then getting to do your scenes maybe for an hour or two and then back in, just wait up really early call times, there all day, just like chatting to people. I did not like it. It was good fun at the time, bit of fun, but like looking back, whereas whenever I open Bankhouse Media and I'm working with different clients every day, I'm learning every single day. I'm challenged every day. Like, what time is it? It's 10 to 9 here this morning. We've been on calls from 7. We've had 2 major challenges today that I've had to deal with, that I'm like, right, okay. So I had to get in on the phone onto this one. And like, I love that. Like, I
Yeah.
genuinely get a buzz. I know that it's going to make a difference to the business. And I know that I can like help in that way. Whereas, yes, okay, on paper, I was a failure, and to a lot of people that maybe would have seen me trying that, even within my family, friends, circles, who would have said, oh, Matthew never really made it as an actor. Thank God. I just am so happy doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
now. And even like, I love the creativity part of acting. Loved it. Absolutely loved the story, the talent story. And that's why it suits me to be a film producer, because I don't have to be on set if I don't want to be, but I
Yeah.
still get the opportunity to do it. So what you've been trying for years and years and years and failing at, there could be another version of that exact job, that in that industry, that in that creativity space, that's a slightly different role that brings you much more fulfillment and doesn't let you feel like a failure. It makes you feel like a success. And the same as whenever you're going into like any job at all, there is other, if you're not a good footballer, you could be a really good footballing coach.
Opportunity, you're learning something that you can share with others, to the biggest things, like what you're doing with Life's a Beach, or what we're doing,
Yeah.
showing people that there is a way to create an online business if you want it, you know
Mm-hmm.
and that's through all the lessons you've learnt over the last X amount of years, paying
Yeah,
it forward,
absolutely. Oh,
you know
100%. I do think that is, there's no such thing as failure, but like, let's use the word as failure as like a milestone or a benchmark to get to. If you're getting to failure, then it's brilliant, because you're getting to the next failure, then you're getting to, but as long as you listen, as long as you take note, like I have had to shift so
shape
many
shift.
times whenever it comes to like business ideas, work. Like, look how many times we're like, okay, let's try SEO, let's do this. And especially now, we've got like with one of our products, we've got like about a 20,000 person mailing list, and we're testing in so many different ways. Some of them have been catastrophic failures, right, on paper and in monetary terms, but they're not in like the lesson.
Yeah.
People go to university in the States and spend 50,000 a year. You can get the lessons out in the real world. It might cost you a bit of money here and there with like experimenting with things, but it's all about just acquiring more and more and more data. And I know I've like turned it into like, we're even with mindset and marketing, where it's like very data led, But I do think that everybody should look back and say, okay, what have I learned in the past? What have I achieved? What did I get from that? What lesson did I get? And then, okay, now that I know where I'm going to in the future, how can I make sure that that doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's not a failure, it's a lesson.
That's a big thing, you know, kind of reflect on previous experiences and try and change what, you know, you needed to, and always try and remain positive about it, you know, try and create a bit of positivity around what's going on, see it as, like you say, a lesson, and then try again. You know, if you're obviously if you have a goal in mind that you really want to achieve, you know, don't just stop at the first hurdle, like me in the firefighting service.
Thank God you didn't go to the fire. Well, I mean, you would have been saving lives. But then I think you got a bit of that with doing. You got a bit of that then by going into Childline. Do you know what I mean? I thought you done. That was a really. Whenever you told me you were doing that, I was like, oh, I really want to work with this person, because you dedicated your Monday and Tuesday nights or something to like being on the phone like a couple of times a month, and I was like, yeah, I want to work with her. You know, because that is the type of person that I want around me. So, like, even though you weren't, like, the reason why you went to the fire brigade was to, like, save, like, that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to save someone's life and be a part of a bigger picture. And then you weren't able to do it, but you were able to do it with Childline, which was just, like, you know, as important, if not more so, and some people might say.
I know.
You know?
But the only thing about, had I been successful in the fire service, would have been, I would have got my steps up on the daily.
I know. Well, you need to get your Apple Watch back on. Need to get your watch back on. I know. Yeah, thank God. Sharon actually said the other day that she'd done 700 steps, right?
All day.
Now, I'm hoping that her phone was on the table and wasn't actually tracking them all. But
we don't know. We can't be sure.
I was in shock now that I'm a fitness guru.
So actually, that's probably a failure on my part too, not moving enough.
Yeah, we'll move more. But look at what you do straight away. You get the watch on, you start tracking it, you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah, so that's actually a point. So we've talked a lot about people who, you know, fail. But then for those out there a bit like me, you need to start recognizing, why have you not got enough failures in your life? You need to set some more goals here or track something, because, you know.
Maybe that's going to give you something to listen to, and maybe that gives the listener something to think about. Maybe gives you something to think about, and maybe gives the listener something to think about. Because I don't think failing is the problem. I think not failing is the problem.
I agree. So I'm up on my game. I've learned a lot today, actually.
You have, so have I, always. So thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one.
Bye.